threshold to start, I let the dog make a mistake no matter what. I don't try to manage that decision to start by any means, because I want him to understand the action of going in is going to be always told to come back, come back, come back until we naturally get this, and that no more fleeing out the door. So opening it, and let him go out, and wait for strategic. Basil! Good. Toe, tongue, stem, stem. Good boy. Go, Papa. Go back up to it. Basil. Good. Eventually, I will hold accountable for even going out, but right now it's just Basil. Good. I dial up from, I ended up going from that 4 to a 6. Or that 3 to a 6. Basil. Good. Boy. Good. So that barrier is coming much clearer to him. There's no engagement at this point. Yeah. That will come with time. But if I'm looking for a dog to immediately get dropped off and have engagement with me, wishful thinking. Some will already have that just because their owners either built that up or they're just naturally more of that kind of dog. But a fearful, nervous, like insecure, worried about everything going on around them, the last thing that they're going to do right away is be looking to me, and I'm going to have to build up. I'm going to take a step back, and that's not an invitation for him to follow me. So right there, I did my tap, step towards, just like I was doing a place upstairs. Now I'm already starting to naturally get him to check in with me, because he's like, well, wait a second, every single time I've tried to step out this doorway without permission now, she's interrupted that. So, I'm always patient, wait for eye contact, and then I'll start introducing the release word. His tongue's off to the side. Always tell the dogs that are a little bit more used to just going through the motions versus the ones he's probably never had to at a doorway look to his owners. It's probably just been the door opens and he goes out. And no fault of his owners, they probably just didn't realize that that was something that they could really utilize to get him in the right space before heading out. Good boy. I'm going to come back in. Let's go. So right there I made it very clear that I was inviting him to come back in with me. I used my body language and the tone movement and told him, let's go. So that I'm not creating confusion at doors. Let's go. I don't want to it's right here. Hold that back. Basil. Good. Good. So the reason I was very clear about inviting him in that first time is because I wanted to make sure that when we do go up to this doorway and I am disagreeing with flying in or flying out, it's clear that as long as I'm inviting you in, come on in, move in with me. But if I am just walking up to a doorway and you're just busting through because it's open, that's where I'm going to give you information of no, we don't do that around here. He's all in that teaching phase for it, so it's not like he's getting corrected by any means for doing that. He's just getting teaching and learning opportunities for what going in without the permission means, and that's me using my tone to get him to come back out, and eventually it will just be a sit, holding him accountable for that, me stepping in, shush and tap if he goes to come in without the invite, and I can start conditioning him to that as well. So I'm going to take a step in, and this is how dogs are going to start to have to become more mindful of the human naturally without me teaching him a watch me or look at me or anything like that, is he's just going to start making so many more decisions that I'm going to give him information on that he's gonna have to be like, okay, well, what do you want? Like, that's how we're gonna naturally start to get some of that engagement here at doorways and stuff, because he's just like rolling through habits of what he does at home. Open door means go in, open door means come out. Good. So taking your time through these kinds of things. It can feel like you're only standing here for like 2 minutes. It can feel like you've been standing here for an hour. But I want to wait for him to check in with me. Right. Very good. 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 Right. Beautiful. So right there, I'm starting to give him the idea of like, let's slow down at doorways. Because I also want to set him up for success. I want to let him make those choices going in and out, but he is slowing down. So now I'm starting to shape what the expectation at the door is. I don't care if he's sitting, I don't care if he's standing. I just want patience. That's what I'm always looking for in this kind of setting. Do you see how he's now checking in with me way quicker? Because he has to. Yeah. He's like, I don't know what else I'm supposed to do except for look to you for direction, and that's going to consistently get him the answer he's looking for, is clarity. Good. Now I can actually start shaping my good marker with my thumbs up, because before his head's everywhere but me, so like I would utilize that when he would turn towards me and make eye contact with me, but if he's looking this way and I'm telling him good, I'm not going to do a thumbs up, because at that point he's not going to see it. Yeah. So now I can start really shaping my break meaning something, my good meaning something, to create clarity around that, because his eyes haven't left me. Good. Wow, you're smart. Read him out. That very soft heels. Good. That's good. Good. See all that you can see him thinking. Waiting for him to look towards me, give the leash. Last thing I want to do is constantly keep leash tension on him, because then it's like, well, what's next? What are you trying to tell me? I want it to be that, like, let's have a conversation. It's kind of like a little dance. Good. Good job, Bubba. Good. That's good. That's good. Good. Shh. No stem there. I just wanted to give him a little bit of spatial pressure with my shush to kind of just create that clarity. And he's now defaulting into a sit for all of that. And I've not once asked him to sit at the doorway, which is awesome. Eventually I will, just when it gets into more of like the that's what we do at doorways type of stuff. Right there I did stem. I'm at a 6. Good. Good. That's very good. Very good. He's so good. I went up to a 12 there. That's good. 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 Much more mindful. Let's go. See how I'm like intentionally like stopping at the door? That body language is giving him information that he needs that we're stopping. I don't walk up to it and like just go like this and immediately have him make a mistake. I can do that if I need to create that clarity around it. But again, I want to give him clear information of like what the expectation is at the door. So I can stop and kind of like let him feel this energy and body language. He's naturally going to stop with me more often, just like we were doing yesterday at the walk, where with Olive, you know, versus being like, let me give you every little answer, being really intentional with your body movement of shoulders forward, relaxed arms, just being very confident in like your leadership state of mind for yourself. The dog can't help but respond to that and be more in tune with you. Like he has not taken his eyes off me now, but in the beginning it was like, oh boy, like he hasn't looked at me once. But notice how I haven't once had to ask him to look at me. That's what is so important for me to kind of cultivate on day one with these dogs. Is there's nothing wrong with people teaching that action. That's fine. I just choose not to, because I'd rather mark this and really kind of shape that relationship with the dog in a more organic way versus like, hey, look what I have. I'm going to now give you this if you make eye contact with me. What I will do with dogs, if they are kind of that like timid, nervous, is I'll have them earn their food by like either they're on place or they're in their kennel or just kind of sitting in front of me, and I'll have some of their food in either of my hands. They look at me, I give it to them. So waiting for that just organic choice to look at me, and then the dog will end up earning their full meal just from like making eye contact with me. So I'll do a lot of that stuff, especially with young dogs, to kind of build up that engagement as well. But right now he is just like, and yeah, he's still panting and things like that, but his eyes are so soft. He's so much less like buggy and nervous. He's much more just, okay, looking to you kind of gives me a little bit of a breath of fresh air because I'm getting direction in a world that really scares me, and that's what we want for him. Right, Papa? Frank, that's my boy. All right, we're gonna move out here. You can come out now. You wanna pause for a second, case? One session, so like this will be his session for the day, and we'll take him out of course for like potty breaks and stuff like that, but after we're done with our day one protocol, he should be exhausted. Like it should be that he wants to just decompress in the crate the rest of the day. So when you asked, well, how do you get the dogs to like not be barking on day one and stuff, they are so pooped typically after day one exercise, and we address it right away, that it's just usually not something that we have to really navigate through. Once in a while, of course, but I doubt he'll be like one that would be real concerned about barking his head off all day. So we're back to the disconnected Basil. He's just like, that highway sound is freaking him out. He's so unsure. So I'm going to start to build up his engagement with me with the tone work of just getting him into a follow. Basil, good. I just start naturally moving with the dog and waiting till I feel like a really good spot for me to give him information. Like here, Basil. Basil. Good. I wanted the head toward him as well. Basil. Basil. Good. Basil. Good. Basil. Good. See how he's like really rounding around me? I want to start to shape that up so we're not just doing circles together. Basil. Good. Basil.
This is just tone.
Just tone right now. And leash guidance. I'm going to start introducing stim here. Right there. Tone, tone, stim, stim. At a 9. Because I know the stim is going to help with the state of mind, not hurt it. And I think that's where a lot of people that don't have knowledge on e-collars or just think that they're like just correctional tools. No, it's going to help this nervous dog so much. It's just, Don't stand there. Basil. Right there. Good. Basil. Sit right there. Right there. 7. Not asking him for obedience here. I'm trying to help him slow down with my spatial pressure of like, how I'm doing it is I'm doing that shush tap. It would almost be as if I was just giving you a little leash guidance, and then I follow through with spatial pressure. I want to take away that fleeing around me, because again, he's so fearful of stuff that when people come over, it's flight, flight, flight. They can't walk him because a tractor drives by, flight, flinging at the end of the leash. I want to start to tell him, hey, every time you hear a noise, don't get up and move around. Just because I'm moving, don't get up and move around. Just slow down, until I'm encouraging you and inviting you to move with me. Because again, I sound like a broken record. I don't give a yahoo about what obedience he's doing right now. I want to help him get into a healthier, calmer, and more mindful state of mind. And all of those tiny moments of like, I could let him hear that truck and get kind of like, what's going on about that? But I don't want to keep nurturing that, where it's like, oh, it's okay, buddy, don't worry about that. It's like, shh, don't worry about that. Let me show you don't need to worry about that. I got your back right here. Those trucks are not going to come get you. Auntie Kate's got your back, and that's what I want him to see. And he's quickly going to become like mentally exhausted because he's like, oh my gosh, I really have to think. Beautiful. He's got to go through some of these growing pains, and it's always going to look like rainbows and butterflies, and he's like loving all this sound and this new work. No, but that's the goal, is to get him to a space where this feels really good. And that's where some of these growing pains definitely have to kind of like be a part of the equation to get him less stressed, more confident, and that's the goal. Right, Bubba? Alright, I'm gonna do a little bit more with him.
Preach it, sister. That was awesome. That's for sure gonna make one of them.
Oh yeah, I'm sure I'll get hate for talking about like interrupting for a dog's discomfort or whatever. So I'm gonna do a little bit more with him, and then I want to give you a chance to work on this, because it looks, I'm not saying it looks easy, but like it kind of does.
You make it look easy.
I'll have people that literally like, wow, like this dog's healing, and I pass the leash off and they're like, oh shit, what do I do? So I'm gonna get him a little bit more tuned in, and then I want you to feel like,
I'll stop filming.
yeah, and then you can totally like, let's let you learn on him. You're not gonna ruin him by any means. Because you're sweet, you're a dog. Yeah. Okay, Mama, you ready to go? Let's go. Good. Basil. Good. Woohoo! I picked up my energy a little bit because he's feeling to me a little bit more like, ooh, I'm feeling a little spunky. So I'm gonna give him a little bit of spunk back. Let's go. Good. Basil. Good. If I want to slow him down, shush tap, and he stops. We're going to do more of that stuff with him than even movement. It's just like slowing him down. See how stopping immediately makes him a little bit more, like he goes from like bouncing, tail wagging, to, ooh, the tail's under now a little bit, because I have to start to like take all this in again. The environment's scary to him currently. Good. Loved that choice, and that was an active choice by him. He took one tiny step forward instead of moving, because I kept giving him information just a little bit ago, like, hey, don't move towards me every single time. Instead of moving towards me and just like habitually making that decision, it was took a paw forward. What, lady? That's what I was looking for. Good. Basil. Good man. Basil. Good man. I'm gonna leave a little leash guidance this way. Good. Because I'm gonna start to shake that left side. I don't care much right now, but I don't want him to just keep circling around me. So I use my leash, tone, good, and body. So let me show that again. Leash, tone, body. So I'm being strategic about what side I'm having him on, because eventually heel's gonna be on my left-hand side. Basil. Good. Basil. Good. Tired already? Scary cameraman. Scary cameraman. All right, so I just want to see really quick